You're probably going to make more money flipping couches part-time than you are from your full-time job.
I have, like, it's crazy. Like, I make more off 2 or 4 hours of my side hustle more than my 40-hour job, and I kick myself in the butt every time about it. I question, like, why am I doing this?
In February, we moved $25,000 worth of returns, and then this past month in October, we moved $500,000. You can go to the retailer and you can pay $4,000. Come to me and pay $1,200.
That kind of looks like scamish to me in a way, because like anybody could just screenshot pictures and be like, yeah, I have this. And like some people physically want to see the item.
The key to getting more retailers on board is simply recovery. I see so many people get stuck in the hustle of Facebook Marketplace. So what has your experience with the returns been like so far?
It's been better. Like at first it was like kind of like I didn't know how to really go about like listing or what pricing to list it for, and I never like dealt with brand new items, so it was all new to me. And so I think the first item took me like maybe like 3 weeks or maybe even longer to sell, because I just, for the most part, it was because I had a job, and so I wasn't like desperate to sell it. So I wasn't like reposting or like, like it's not like I needed the money, you know what I mean? So it was just like I was letting it sit, let it marinate, and kind of see like what it did. And then it sold, but for the price that I wanted it for. And then after that, it excited me. I'm like, well, holy crap, this works. And so I started like getting more returns and listing those. And I think that sectional, the Rove sectional, like I listed it for like a grand, and it sold within like I think the next day or 2 days after or something like that. And it's like so much more convenient. I mean, obviously, the perks, not having to clean it. It's still in box. Issue I'm having problems with is like if stuff is still in box, like I don't want to take it out, or if it needs to be assembled, like to get like real pictures of the item. So like I just been like screenshotting pictures off of the website, but that kind of looks like scamish to me in a way, like it just, because like anybody could just, screenshot pictures and be like, yeah, I have this. And like, you know what I mean? But like some people physically want to see the item, you know what I mean? So it just, and then another thing is like I'm transitioning from like used, like I haven't really picked up much used items at all. I've just been doing the returns, but there's a few concerns of mine, and I probably will continue to do used now that I'm like thinking about it, because I don't know if there's enough inventory for return items to like sustain like a monthly, hustle for me. Cause I mean, I have everything written down. I broke my ribs like the week before last. And so I've been in bed a lot just thinking about life, and like I kind of structured my whole life, my weekly schedule. And I kind of, after work, I want to be able to either pick up or sell something after work to have like a 3-hour window where that's just like my side hustle. You know what I mean? So if I don't get a new return, then I want to get another couch or something like that, and I just want to stay focused on that. So like today, for instance, I'm selling that, what is it? The Casserly?
Yeah.
But I have to drive all the way to Manhattan to do it. But they're giving me like, it's like an 8-piece row, like almost brand new piece, sectional. So I'll be able to make really good money on that. So I'm just trying to stay busy, but I've been doing Facebook Marketplace. I know I like, part of me tells me like, dude, this could be something really cool. You can open a website and it could be legit. And I just never really done something like this before. So
got it. Obviously, we've been working together on a couple of returns. The experience overall, even though new, has been good. Like you're spending less time cleaning and preparing the items. You're getting them at a good price point with healthy resale margin. And now you're starting to see like how much you can sell and make on these returns. And you're keen on getting more, but you're a little concerned about the flow of returns to you as well.
Yeah. The flow of returns, and also because I'm not paying, like I'm probably on average paying like $300 to $500 per item on these linear returns. It's all about like having that capital to like, all right, well, if this doesn't sell and I don't have money because this didn't sell for me yet, like how am I going to buy another one for 500? If I don't have that capital? So I opened up like 2 credit cards to have those, just as like, this is just to buy like at least 3-4 items, whatever, and stuff sells, and then I can pay off the cards, with the money that it was invested into,
right?
And, take the profit and then do, subdivide that however I may be. So that was like a concern of mine, but I was able to get approved for some cards and stuff. So it's going to give me a little cushion to be able to keep, pushing the ball forward.
That's great. Now, is that 0% APR card?
Yeah, I got like a Venmo card. I don't know, what's the max they're going to give me. And then I got like a Capital One like Quicksilver card for like $1,000, but I don't want to get too high in there. You know what I mean? It would be good to have a good, I mean, my credit isn't the best either. It's regular. That like by doing this as well, I'll be able to like, you know, my credit will go up when they see like, hey, like he's taking quite a bunch of money out and he's paying it within, you know, on the same month. So it can be a blessing. So maybe I can get a little more money in the future.
There's a big difference between personal credit and using credit for buying inventory.
Yeah.
So personal credit is just, you know, you're not making money on that. It's just money out the door. Whereas buying inventory, especially 0% APR, that's a really good use of credit.
Yeah, but I don't know how to do that. So like that's, I mean, like you mean like with like a business or something like that, like a LLC or
yeah, I mean eventually, but even just the personal cards that you have right now, the purpose is what's important, right? The purpose of the personal cards is not for your personal spend; it's to finance purchases in the business.
Exactly.
Yeah, and access to capital is really, really important to be able to grow beyond what you've been doing.
No, for sure. I misunderstood you, but yeah, I understand what you're saying now. Yeah, absolutely. Like I honestly, if it wasn't for the business, I would have never taken the cards out because I had a bad experience in the past. So I refused to, you know, if I don't have it, I'm not going to buy it. You know what I mean? So, but this is for something totally different. So I'm like, it's like a gun, you know, you can use it for good or you can use it for not, you know, for bad. So it's like, it's a tool no matter which way you look at it.
So, you know, because you're willing to drive, like I actually have a fair amount of returns for you. Connecticut, not that much. I mean, in Connecticut, maybe I'm getting like 5 returns a month at this point.
Yeah.
Because you're willing to drive to like upstate New York, kind of like White Plains, Hillsborough kind of area. I think that's like 2 hours away from you, right? I can probably get you around 10 to 15 returns a month with that expanded radius, even if, you know, and then I think you're willing to go up to Massachusetts, basically anywhere like 2 hours away. If it's worth the drive, you're kind of willing to do.
Keywords, if it's worth the drive, because I'm not going to go drive 2 hours for like a $300 profit margin. You know what I mean? So, but I think that the pricing, you know, like obviously that I feel like for the most part, like the pricing is good, even if you're going by the MSRP, like because there's still a profit and a spread there to, you know, for money to be made. But like an odd occurrence is like the row sectional where it was like, you know, the website was listed, they had it so low, you know, it's just like it didn't make sense to make that move on my part. But also I understand that like you have a commitment to these guys. Like I'm supposed to be agreeing to like purchasing every single item, you know what I mean? Because like I'm your guy, you know what I mean? Like it's your credibility and everything like that. Like, you know, we're the guys who are like your hands and feet here on the turf. So I don't want to make you look bad at all either as well, you know? And I don't like, I understand, you know what I mean? So as long as we can, you know, there's like a good margin for me to be willing to drive those, you know, those hours. And also that, like, let's say for instance, like there's 2 items maybe, right, that are close by, like to schedule those both at the same time so I can just like pick them up simultaneously instead of making like 2 different 2-hour trips. That would really help ease the blow a lot too. Even if they're like, they don't have to be right next to each other, but they're like somewhat in the same vicinity.
Okay, cool. And now you're working a full-time job now. Is that the HVAC thing or something else?
No, it's something else. I'm the maintenance guy for like an elder living facility. I mean, it's not great. You make like 20 something dollars an hour and it's 40 hours a week, Tuesday to Saturday, like 8 to 4:30.
Right. But it's stable. It's consistent.
Yeah, it's stable. That's the only reason, you know, like I got divorced earlier this year. So paying like, you know, child support and stuff like that. Like I need to, you know, make sure that I have everything set for my kids. And so that's why I picked something, because, you know, the couch game, although it was like profitable in many ways, it was also like inconsistent at times, just, you know, depending on, especially during the seasons. Like I don't know why here in Connecticut, like during the summer it's like dry. I needed to find a way to make, you know, to make something consistent. So that's why I like it, you know. And I feel like with my hustle and my mindset, like I can still do the same amount of damage as somebody who's doing couch full time, and I can do the same with the time that I have, you know. The goal is to either pick something up or to sell something every day, and then I'll be just fine. So
yeah, I mean, you're probably going to make more money flipping couches part-time than you are going to from your full-time job, but now you have both incomes, right?
I have, like, it's crazy. Like I make more off of like 2 or, you know, sometimes 2 or 4 hours of my side hustle more than my 40-hour job. And I kick myself in the butt every time about it. But then I'm like, it's consistent. I question, like, why am I doing this? You know, but like, and then I think about my kids and responsibilities and stuff. I have another baby on the way, by the way. So that's another surprise. There's a lot on my plate right now. So I just need something consistent.
Look, I have another flipper that we work with that when he came to us, it was like early summer. We started working together. He had just gotten divorced. He was in like a terrible financial situation. First month of really doing returns with us, made $16,000 gross profit. It's probably more money than he's ever made in a month before. We've seen how this can transform people's lives. And that's really why we're passionate about what we do, is that, couch flipping, it's not glamorous, but it's honest work. And there's real money to be made here. Nothing wrong with $20 an hour, but you can make way more than $20 an hour doing this part-time.
Let me ask you this, bro. Like, you're nationwide, right?
Yeah.
What do you have in the area of Weeki Wachee, Florida? Like Springs Hill, around that area.
Is that SoFlo, like Southern Florida?
No, that's like close to the Gulf. Do you have any people out there you're working with?
What's the name of the city?
Well, my mother, it's Weeki Wachee, like WEEKI WACHI. Weeki Wachee, Florida. It's right next to, I think, Spring Hill or something like that, Hill Springs or something.
Okay, so this is like north of Tampa.
It's like 45 minutes an hour from Tampa, north.
I mean, we get quite a few returns.
Does it show you on average what you get on a monthly basis, or you don't?
In Weeki Wachee, not a lot, but we get a lot of returns in Orlando and Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete, like the more populated areas, kind of close to there.
Are you working with anybody at St. Pete at the moment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Frankly, the return program is growing very quickly. Let's say in February, we moved $25,000 worth of returns. And then this past month in October, we moved $500,000.
Oh.
So it has increased 20 times since February. By the end of the year, I think we're doing
Congrats. Dude, you're killing. That's awesome.
Thank you. Or end of the year, I think we're gonna be doing $1 million a month.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
Yeah.
And so as the volume increases, even areas that are lower traffic, lower volume will become higher volume. Whereas our high density metros like New York or LA, like we're getting like 20 returns, 25, 20, 30 returns a week right now.
You're still
on that base, like 100 items. Yeah.
Are you working with that kid in New York still?
Yes. He's one of our flippers in New York. Yep.
And he's doing he's doing new items now, like new returns.
He's doing returns with us. We have some other flippers that we work with in New York doing returns with us as well. It's just a big city. There's so many returns in New York. It can't be one person.
Right.
Okay, I understand the situation. There's plenty of opportunity for us to grow. With the returns, it is a bit of give and take. I can't have people come in and only take the high value items. If you get a sectional for $500, retails at $4,000, you're going to make $1,500 on it. Everybody wants those flips. But then occasionally there's like, I don't know, a coffee table. If it's close by, there's a bit of an expectation that you take those items as well. And then as you collect. And so what I tell people is to really understand the value of returns, you got to do like 5 or 10 to understand like what the items are and how it's going to fit into your business model. I think you're right in that range now, Jacob. You've done 5 or 10, so you kind of have seen like the different variety of items, different retailers, and whether it's worth it or not for you. And you've gotten to the point where you're like, yeah, I want to keep doing this. And on average, what we see is that people make around $400 gross profit per flip. Out across the different kinds of products, conditions, retailers, our guys are making around $400 gross profit per item. When you get a return, sometimes it's multiple items in one pickup, right? So yeah, that's the good news. So to talk a little more tactically about where I think like this road heads for like our road together, what that leads to is, I could see this being your only source of inventory in the future. In the short term, no. You're going to have to diversify and find some used stuff to flip, especially if you have this goal of flipping something every day, which is a good goal. I don't know how you're going to do it in just part-time hours because people struggle to do a flip a day working time. But if you really have that hustle, that's incredible, and that means you're going to be successful in the long term if you're really putting yourself out there like that. I think this maybe within the span of even 3 to 6 months, right, could be your only source of inventory. But I agree with you in the short term, like, keep flipping the used stuff, but be cherry picking your deals, right? No. You don't need to pick up everything now. Like, just pick up the stuff that's like worth your time.
Right.
And then you made a comment earlier about like listing the products and how to get the max value. What we've learned is the marketing makes a big difference. If it's boxed up, like it's still new in box or it comes to you boxed up, take it out of the box and show the boxes and maybe even do a video showing the unboxing. Let them know that this is like a new quality product. That helps with the anchoring, right? But actually taking it out of the box and doing a little bit of staging makes a big difference in your ability to sell the items.
When it comes to like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but when it comes to like chairs, I've done that. It worked. You know what I mean? But when it comes to like tables where you have to like screw everything in and you got to assemble everything and it's going to take like an hour process to do, it's like, and then you have to disassemble it and then make sure you don't lose any of the pieces. Now everything's unopened, everything opened, I should say. Like that to me, like it's, I don't know. What do you suggest that I even do like the tables and stuff like that and open those up?
Well, you're going to have to figure out if it's worth your time, because if you unbox it and stage it correctly, then you can make more on that flip. But if it's only like $100, $200 more, then you weigh that against the time assembling it, disassembling it, putting it back in the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe you could just leave it assembled. You don't have to disassemble it, but it's going to take up more space then. So there is a cost benefit analysis there. But in general, what we see is that when you disassemble or when you assemble and stage the new in-box products, that you will be able to sell them for more.
Yeah. And plus, like if I get a similar return, I'll already have that footage. I can build up inventory. And do you have a group of like return guys and stuff?
Yes.
You can like share information and be like, hey, does anyone have video or footage of this item? You know what I mean? Like, and just kind of share, like, and that would save everybody a bunch of time,
That's true. We are a little concerned about reusing photos and videos. For example, scammers on Facebook, what they're doing is they're just taking other people's photos and reposting them. One of the things that we do with our scam filtering for the sourcing tool is we look at, has this photo shown up in our database before?
Gotcha.
And if it has, then that, we think it's likely that this could be a scam. Sure, Facebook is doing something similar, where if like photos and videos are being reused, it's a signal to them that it's potentially a scam. And I think they're looking at other factors as well to try and like figure out which listings are legit, which listings are scams. So there is a concern there, but I think generally if you crop the photos that you're getting and, so it's not exactly the same, it might work around that. At the end of the day, we don't have the data, and flippers are so dependent on their marketplace profiles, right? That we don't want to do anything to potentially jeopardize that. So as a best practice, what we recommend to people is, put that extra effort in with the sourcing.
Are most of your guys selling off of marketplace for these returns?
So that's the other thing. The returns do move through marketplace. And I think that's where people are surprised, because oftentimes, I think you and I had this conversation too. It's like, have you ever maybe you've never sold a dining room set, or maybe you've never sold a bed, or maybe you've never sold a couch for more than $1,000. And so people frequently are like, man, I don't know if I can pay $500 for this return because I don't know if I can sell it. Oh, my market, it doesn't move. So that's not the case. Like, you can definitely sell returns for more than you sell used product, like used out of someone's home. And that's because you're reaching a different demographic of buyers. Like normally the people that you're like, the model that is like, you buy a couch for free or $100 and you turn around and flip it for like $500, right? That's like the bread and butter. And then over time, maybe you start getting the higher end stuff. So things in better condition, maybe you're paying $200, $300 for it, and then you're flipping it for like $800, $900, right? So this is kind of the range of what couch flippers know and understand. Yeah, my market, you can't sell other things, but this is just not true, right? And you've seen this firsthand now. And the reason is there are other kinds of buyers on Facebook Marketplace. There are people that have money, discretionary income, they can spend a little bit more, but they're on Facebook Marketplace to look for a deal. And that's the audience that you tap into with the returns. So it's like the guys who have a BMW, but they didn't buy it new, they bought it pre-owned certified. They bought it, they didn't want to pay for depreciation. So the sale here is like, you can go to the retailer and you can pay $4,000, or you can come to me and pay $1,200 or $1,500. And you still have a really good resale margin on that. So yes, you can sell these items just on Facebook Marketplace. However, where long-term, if you really want this to be more than just a hustle on Facebook Marketplace, you need to start positioning yourself as a brand. And I saw you do this on your Facebook Marketplace on your Facebook Market or Facebook account, where you posted something and you're like, hey guys, that normally I've been doing like the used stuff, but recently I've gotten an opportunity to start flipping new products, like direct from retailers, like brand name, really quality stuff. And so building that reputation in your market, building a business around it, building a brand identity is so important if you want this to scale to that next level. And I see so many people get stuck in the hustle of Facebook Marketplace, which is they find stuff on Marketplace and they sell it directly on Marketplace. And they're so reliant on their profile, so reliant on the reviews that they've accumulated on their account. But then they have like a bad month or 2 months, and then it feels like they're right back where they started. And there's been no real progress made. In a way, it's true, because what they have done up until this point is they've just maximized what is possible on Facebook Marketplace as a platform, but they haven't grown beyond that. And so the hand that giveth also taketh away. Yeah, you're so reliant on Facebook that when Facebook's not good, it's like the business goes under, right? And so the mindset here is that Facebook is just a wedge. Facebook is just a way to get started in this business that is low barrier to entry. You can find products for cheap and you can find customers for cheap. But if you want longevity and to take this to the next level, you have to be focused on turning this into a business. And so to make it simple, what does that mean? Create a brand. You should probably incorporate, right? Go create an LLC, get a business banking account, start saving everything you can to invest back into the business, move into a bigger space. So you're out of the storage unit and you're into like a warehouse, and then start marketing yourself like a brand too. Create an Instagram page, create a website, create a Facebook page or a Facebook drop group. All the customer interactions that you have, start driving them off of Facebook Marketplace into one of these properties that you own, and then also run some ads in the future. Claim your Google My Business page. Nothing I'm saying here is like a new idea. You've heard all of these ideas before. It's just, when all of your sales, all of your business comes from Facebook Marketplace, it's hard to imagine a world in which, your business comes from your website, your business comes from Google My Business, your business comes from referrals, right? So that's the challenge, in that you're going to spend a couple of months putting in a lot of time and energy into building your business and your brand, and you're not going to see an immediate return. So yeah, that's the challenge, but you have to have more of a long-term mindset and really be focused not on, what's working today, but where you need to be in the future if you want this to be your main thing. And that involves behavioral change. It requires behavioral change. And if you want to get the maximum dollar, like if you want to sell these returns for more, like let's say on Facebook Marketplace, you're going to sell at around 40% of retail. If you want to sell at 50% of retail or 60% or up to 70, I know people that sell even close to MSRP, 80, 90% of retail, they just do. Like people trust them. They're like, this is quality product. I'm getting a little bit of a discount. I also support a local business. I can get it immediately. I don't have to wait for it to ship. I'm getting it delivered into my home. And so they orient around the other value propositions in the business other than just being low cost.
Yeah.
And so want to sell for more, you need to build a brand, probably have like a warehouse kind of showroom space as well, where you can bring people in, show your selection of inventory, and you can sell these products for more. You can make more money on the fly, but it takes time to get there.
It takes time, and it also takes more capital to like get a warehouse, to get a showroom. So it's like, yeah, you're making more, but you're also, a lot of that money is getting pulled back into the business. But then again, if there's a capacity for it, but like 10, 15 returns, I mean, unless you like hybrid that with like used items, you have like a used section and like a new section. In Connecticut, it doesn't seem like there's that many returns going about.
Yeah, like at the moment it's around like 5.
Yeah,
right, 5 a month, like close to you. But once again, if you're willing to drive 2 hours, I can get you around 10, 15 a month today.
Do you have other guys nearby in those areas, or are those just getting like falling by the wayside because you don't have?
Yeah, so my coverage in Connecticut is actually pretty good. We have a lot of partners in Connecticut, but my coverage in upstate New York is not that good. So like White Plains, Hillsborough, my guys in New York City, but they're not really willing to go to upstate New York. They might go to Long Island, but they're not going to go to upstate New York. That's where I need more coverage today.
Because I am making a 2-hour drive, would there be some, I mean, I don't want to get into your business and how much you make profit on with the deal that you make with Rove or whoever. Like, that's not my business. And I pray that you get as much as you can. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that guy. To make a 2-hour or a 4-hour round trip, is there a way that we can, like, instead of paying for like a Connecticut price, that there's like a little bit of a deduction, because I am driving 4 hours to get this thing when, it's probably going to fall by the wayside if I don't pick it up.
Yeah.
Somebody like crazy like myself doesn't go out there and drive for 4 hours and go get it, which I'm willing to do, but not going to do it for like $400 or $500 return.
So that It already exists. I mean, we price returns based on what we think we can sell them for. And another consideration is what the retailer expects in terms of recovery. In terms of recovery, right now we average around 15, we sell things for around 15% of retail if it's in like new or new condition. And then for items that have like some damage or defect that is noted, we sell them more in like the 7 to 8% range. And then once you pick it up, if it's the wrong item or unsellable for whatever reason, obviously you get credited back. So we have some seller protection there. That being said, let's say we get to $1 million a month in returns through our network by the end of the year. That's still 1/1000th of a percent of what's actually available in the United States for returns. There's about $12 billion worth of furniture returns in the United States every year.
Are you looking to grow? Like right now, technically, you're a small fish in the game of returns, right? You're saying 1/1000th, right?
Yeah.
Are you looking to continue to expand in this whole return thing once you gain like momentum and credibility and all this other stuff with these companies that can vouch for you? Hey, this guy's legit, to kind of anchor yourself to keep growing, right?
That's the plan. We want to get as much returns from as many retailers as possible.
So you're constantly reaching out to like different companies and be like, hey, look, trying to sell your brand to them. No, like you're, the perks.
And what we've realized is the key to getting more retailers on board is simply recovery. So the business model makes a lot of sense. We cut out a lot of the logistical hassle of them having to go pick it up and then store it and trying to resell it on their own. So that is all good. But where we get pushback is, let's say I'm selling it to my flippers for 15%, whereas if they collect the item and try to sell it themselves, they can sell it on their website for 70% of retail. If we want more returns, if we want the volume to grow and get more retailers and get more access to inventory, we need to push recovery up. What that means is like flippers are going to have to pay more.
Yeah.
Now, the other side of that, if you can only sell things at 40% of retail, there's not a lot of meat on the bone for me to go much higher than 15, 20, 25% is probably the ceiling, right? Because then you have less than 100% markup if you're selling it at 40%. But if you know that you can sell things at 50, or 60 or 70% of retail, then there is more meat on the bone. And so that means we can get more volume, we can get more supply, and like you're still making good resale margins. And so another part of our strategy here is empowering our resellers to do better with the inventory that we're sending them, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like your business is what it is today, you pick it up and you sell it for what you can. Like our goal is to help you figure out how to sell these items for more. And we do that with our like coaching, like this call right now, our mastermind, our, Slack channel. We're developing more tools and resources that, as we learn how to sell these returns more effectively, we bring that information, we bring that technology to you, and you can integrate that into your business. And the other thing is, as more resellers learn about the opportunity and figure out that they can make money on it, the demand will grow. And demand will also push the recovery up. So short answer is pricing is already dynamic. We have ranges of what we price things at, but at the end of the day, we price it based on what we think we can sell it for. That is still going to be compelling to our reseller. And our commission is pretty small. And for us, this is really a volume play, right? We just want so much inventory to be, moving through our network. And then if we take 1%, 2% of retail on every return, that's good money for us because we have a lot of volume.
You're just taking something and handing it off. It's not like you have to cover on getting a driver or, doing all the physical aspects of it all, but you have that connection, which you should rightfully get reimbursed for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. We need to make something,
sure.
But overall, we understand our role is growing the network, bringing in more supply. And so we get paid last, right? Because if we take too much, those things aren't going to grow. So we need to take a fair commission such that the main partners involved, which are the retailers and the resellers on the ground, have more meat on the bone for them, and that this becomes a more compelling opportunity overall.
All right, man. I kind of have an idea of what to do. I have been selling it at a 50%, whatever I see is on the website that's not MSRP, but whatever the cost is for that item today, I'm going to try to sell that for 50% and hopefully make a nice little spread in between of whatever I'm getting it for. Yeah, I've been making $500-$600, so it works for me, and especially when I have a job where I'm not depending on this money to live, where it's just I don't mind if it sits a week or two or whatever. You know what I mean? Like eventually down the road, like if I want to grow this thing and dive in full time. And I mean, I don't even know if I'm geographically in the right area to even do that. You know what I mean? Like, but time will tell. But for right now, I think it's in a good place, and I want to keep doing business with you, and I want you to see me as somebody reliable that can pick these items up. So it's just about making sure I have the capital, because right now, to be honest with you, I don't know if I have the capital for like 10, 15 items, a month, because I would have to grow my credit to be able to have a line of credit that's bigger than just a couple grand,
Right.
to be able to.
I think you'll get there. Your head's in the right place for this, and you have your full-time job, so that should cover your expenses, even with the child support. That's tough. But I think the goal for you now is keep as much money in the business, like you have something to save for now, right? Keep as much money on hand, and as you use your credit line, they're going to look at that positively. Your credit line will increase over time, probably sooner than later. Encourage you to start making the moves that are important in the business, moving into a bigger space, building a brand. Spend a couple hours on that each week. It's not going to pay dividends today, but you'll see results if you're consistent with it, a couple hours every week over the next 3 to 6 months. And that's also the time frame in which you're going to start getting more inventory from us as well, assuming our partnership is still going strong.
So you think that the first way to start this thing looking like a business, and you say creating a brand, is to basically get an LLC and go from there? Would that be your first step? If you were me, like what would be your first step? You're in my position right now. You're like, all right, I need to create a brand. What's the number one thing for you?
Start building a brand.
Right. But what is that like? What is that? I mean, I wrote down.
Yeah. Create your Instagram page.
Okay. Start an Instagram.
Create your Instagram page, maybe create your Facebook page. If you want to get your Google My Business, you will need to incorporate. It's not a bad idea. Having Google My Business is very low barrier to entry. You just need an LLC, and then the returns are very high. So if you start accumulating reviews on your Google My Business and getting people to review and leave photos, and you'll start popping up in local search. And when people are looking for furniture, they'll find you, they'll come into your showroom, your warehouse. Yeah. So that's a great marketing tool that is not very complex and has very good returns. And then start posting things on your business pages. And then when you have interactions with customers, start funneling them to your business pages. You need to figure out advertising as well. But the simple steps today are create your website, get your Facebook page, get your Instagram page, start posting things on there, in addition to just on your marketplace profile, and then work on your content. I'll send you some examples of what other flippers have been doing to market the returns and the little videos and stuff they're creating. It's time and energy once again, but at first it's going to be harder, and then over time you'll fall into a process.
Yeah.
It'll be easier. The first time you create a video is hard. The 100th time you create a video is easy. So learning to position the products a little bit differently too.
Yeah, I think that I'm now with the winter and stuff, I think in my living room, I should just clear out a space, put down a rug, and just have that as my little stage room for right now, maybe repaint my walls and kind of make it look like this belongs here, maybe some paintings in the background and whatever to make it look, authentic. I have a few ideas running through my mind right now to how to make look more appealing and enticing, to the buyer. So, yeah. Okay,
great. Well, Jacob, I got to run, but it was a pleasure connecting with you today. Looking forward to what we can do, make a dent in your market.
Yeah, man. Do you want to catch up in a few weeks to kind of see where I'm at and just kind of be all right, I really dude, you're a very, very smart man, and I just love what you do, and I just want to implement that in my own way in this couch business. So I think talking to people like yourself just expands my mind, and it helps me to envision something in a bigger aspect, in a bigger way. So
absolutely. Look, my calendar is open for IB industry partners. You can book up to 1 call a week with me, actually, and some people do weekly, especially as they're getting started. Other people do monthly, quarterly. And then we have our mastermind too. It's every month on the first Wednesday of the month, 12 p.m. Eastern.
Mastermind is every what?
It's the first Wednesday of each month at 12 p.m. Eastern. Our next session is coming up this Wednesday, the 5th. Yeah.
How long does this meeting take?
Usually at least an hour, sometimes up to 2, between an hour or 2. Just depends on the subject matter.
Do you record it or no?
We do. And IB industry partners get access to the recording as well.
All right. Yeah. Cause I work Wednesdays, so I can come in for half an hour, but then I got to go back to work. So, but
yeah, it's also something, if you can work with earpods in, you can just listen along.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We'll make that happen then.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Jacob. We'll talk soon.
I'll set something up for next week just to hold me accountable to do some stuff from here to next week and just kind of build from that. So,
perfect.
Right. Thank you, Charles. Thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.